In 2015, the ticker symbol CMG was enjoying a high of over $757 per share towards the end of the year. But then the stock fell to $247.52 a little over 2 years later in early 2018. The tremendous fall in stock price provided a great opportunity for investors to buy at a discounted price, assuming that the company could weather the storm. And that's exactly what Bill Ackman of Pershing Square did. As a matter of fact, they secured 9.9% stake, making them the second largest shareholder at the time of their announcement. To understand why he chose to invest in Chipotle while the stock was sinking, it's important to understand the company's history. The first Chipotle Mexican grill opened in 1993 near the University of Denver campus after the founder, Steve Ells, remodeled a Dolly Madison ice cream store. The concept was taken from burrito shops that Ells had encountered working at Star's restaurants in San Francisco. The then 28-year-old entrepreneur had no experience in business, so he was making things up as he went along with high hopes of using profits to open a full-scale fine dining restaurant. He was able to secure an $85,000 loan from his father with the goal of selling a little over 100 burritos per day in order to reach profitability. Success found him early, as the store was able to become more profitable each day, and within the first month, the store was selling more than 1,000 burritos a day. Using the cash flow, the business just continued to expand with an opening of another store in 1995, and continuing on to open more stores until it was able to open one outside Colorado in 1998. The growing success of the business caught McDonald's attention, so they made an initial minority investment in 1998. They would later grow to be a 90% stakeholder before Chipotle's IPO by 2006. Soon after a successful IPO, McDonald's completely divested from Chipotle, as well as all other investments not related to the core business. The then CEO Steve Easterbrook commented that the executives wanted 100% focus on the McDonald's brand, and that other ventures had taken attention away from that. Though there was never any strife between the two companies, there was cultural difference in food and people, as Ells described. McDonald's must be kicking themselves years later as the stock continues to grow substantially. Steve branded Chipotle to be the only fast food restaurant that served gourmet meals, but with the core mission of selling food with integrity. A gourmet meal is one that is prepared with high quality at the restaurant, rather than having processed food delivered and put together. The company ran a campaign where they would be serving only food that had not been genetically modified. The Back to the Start campaign featured a farmer watching as his farm slowly turned into an inhumane industrial animal factory, but quickly reverted back to the start for a more sustainable future. To further emphasize their values, when Chipotle audited one of their pork suppliers, it was found out that there was a breach of animal welfare standards in the way the pigs were being treated. Faced with a shortage of pork, the company decided to pull carnitas from some of their stores' menus rather than continue buying from the supplier. Now that's food with integrity. This strong branding would come into play in their most desperate times, even if they didn't know it. Since the split from McDonald's, Chipotle enjoyed many years of profitability and expansion. But in 2015, towards the end of the year, the burrito company began its descent into a 67% stock drop. What caused this catastrophic disaster? In late 2015, there was a series of E. coli outbreaks in the states of Oregon and Washington. An outbreak is a noticeable, often small, increase over the expected number of cases in a given amount of time. So if the normal number of 6 students in a school is 3 in a month, then an outbreak would be if 10 students had the same sickness in a month. E. coli infections are the result of eating contaminated food. So, in response, Chipotle took extra measures to replace ingredients and changing food preparation procedures. Though measures were taken on the food side, human error in judgment proved to be the next blow to the company. In December of that same year, a manager knowingly allowed an ill worker to complete his shift, causing an outbreak of the norovirus to 141 people, 80 of which were on a college men's basketball team. To further try and control safety protocols, the company issued a nationwide closure for a few hours to do an all-staff meeting on food safety. Around this time, Pershing Square announced that they had secured a large stake in the burrito company and struck an agreement with them. In the agreement, 4 new members were to join the board of directors, including 2 appointed by Pershing Square. This helped to quiet other investors who were critical of the current board that lacked the experience needed to help guide the company to recovery. One of the Pershing Square partners was Ali Namvar, who brought on more than a decade of experience in the restaurant industry, and Matthew Paul, who served as McDonald's CFO during the time they controlled Chipotle. In an effort to win back public opinion, Chipotle ran a promotion to offer 1 free entree to all customers. But the training was not enough to prevent another norovirus outbreak in Virginia due to human error some months later in July of 2017. Because of these recurring outbreaks, Chipotle announced that Steve Ells will step down as CEO, but will remain the chairman of the board. During this time, Bill Ackman remained confident in his thesis of the company and by now increased their holdings to 10.2%, making them the largest shareholder. He reiterated that the issues the company was facing are fixable. The company had a strong brand and that they still had a lot of potential to expand. But in the meantime, the search begins for a new CEO. In February of 2018, Chipotle announced the new CEO will be Brian Niccol, who will be stepping down as the CEO of Taco Bell to take the position. Shares of CMG immediately jumped following the announcement, and though some felt an executive from a traditional fast food chain would change the culture, the company assured the public that they would continue to serve food with integrity. Though there was another outbreak a few months later, Niccol took immediate steps to ensure all employees were retrained, and management would frequently test them on food safety. A little-known fact is that Chipotle does not follow the franchise model, so the company owns all the restaurants. This helps when needing to control a tight operation and execute the company's plans. It is also why you don't see much of a price difference when you travel between cities. Chipotle actually has many trade secrets to preserve their food, which they deviated from, leading to an outbreak. This was aided by the fact that their menu was rather compact, and so the likelihood of food spoilage was lower. Fixing this just simply meant following their procedures carefully, and as for the human error and judgment, retraining thoroughly prevented any further problems. These were all fixable problems that Ackman had previously pointed out. Also, as mentioned before, serving food with integrity gave Chipotle a strong brand that helped it persevere through these hard times. Over the past decade, books and documentaries such as Super Size Me shed light on the negative sides of fast food. So the idea of a restaurant serving healthy and fresh food really stuck with customers. The brand is so strong that after raising prices to offset wage inflation and prices of ingredients, the company did not see any evidence of turning away customers. To further aid the recovery of sales, the new CEO pushed new menu items, invested into marketing their online ordering, and using that to shorten lines for in-store pickups. Niccol had high ambitions for digital ordering, stating that over time, "We believe this can be a multi-billion-dollar opportunity." In terms of finances, the company had plenty of cash and no debt, so they were never in financial danger. Ackman had also suggested that the company could take the brand internationally, but the company was just taking one step at a time. With strong intrinsic qualities in the company and a new CEO with an ambitious vision, the company persevered through the health crisis. Chipotle, as of 2020, continues its steady growth year over year and is enjoying a stock price high of over $1,200. The company briefly started to pay out dividends but quickly retracted it to preserve cash. This was due to investing much of their attention to their digital ordering and website to cater to the large increase in its usage, which prepared them for the rush of online sales during stay-at-home orders. The company also continues to innovate its menu items and continuously test them. For example, following mediocre reviews with their queso in 2017, they rolled out a national menu item called the Queso Blanco after revamping the recipe. When previously owned by McDonald's, they had resisted the implementation of a drive-thru pickup lane, but have since embraced the concept, featuring it as the Chipotle lane. Chipotle has also implemented a rewards program that is very popular with the customer base. These were exactly the type of expanding efforts Ackman had envisioned, and the shareholders were benefiting greatly because of it. Steve Ells now has a net worth of $200 million and is still the chairman of the board. Though he is not handling Chipotle's day-to-day operations, his philosophy continues to live on in the company. Reminiscing back on his early days, he states, "So many people told me it was not a good idea to start a restaurant, especially a fast food restaurant. There was so much wrong with it. It was too spicy. Everything was done by hand, from scratch. Everything was wrong. But that's why customers liked it. It's different, in the right way." If you have an idea, just go for it. If everybody's telling you that it's wrong, maybe that's an indication that it's an original idea. What do you think about Bill Ackman's investment in Chipotle during their time of struggle? Leave your comments down below if you would have invested in them. If you like this content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe.